Hi, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Leon.
and we're going to talk about some technology, games, and some other stuff today. So where would you like to start with?
Well, as we know, last week the Wii U was launched in North America, or in the U.S. territories, I guess. And I think it was like an instant sellout, from what I've been hearing. But it wasn't without some bumps, I've heard.
Really? Like what?
Well, for one thing, there was like a huge day one update. As soon as you take your Wii U home and unbox it, you plug it into the internet, Nintendo wants to send you an update right away. And I heard it was like a large 1 gig file. Originally, some people said 4 gig, but I think they figured out that it was 1 gig. And on top of that, there's a danger that if your system gets turned off, or if you decide it's taking too long or something, during that update, you could potentially break your system such that it doesn't turn back on once you interrupted it. Because it was in the middle of an update and the system software was being rewritten.
So that's happened to a few people.
There's been reports of that, yeah. But there were some problems with the Netflix app too, which people who had an @ symbol in their Netflix password couldn't type that password on the Wii U. Yikes. Because the key wasn't there on the keyboard. So the easy fix was change your password. Go to your computer and log into Netflix.
That sounds like an Apple reasoning.
Right, but I heard that was updated as well, so they added the key back.
Okay.
And you can do that now.
Yeah, well, the nice thing I see so far with this initial launch is Nintendo is acting quickly on things that, it is, you have to give them some slack on a new system, but at least it's like right away. They're like I think someone hacked into, they found some kind of like hack or something to become an admin on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And they fixed that within an hour. So I think that's promising that they're paying attention, and
right.
They promised the Netflix app to be out at launch. They missed it, but it came out soon after.
Right. Yeah, and the other cool thing is that they let you use your own storage, but some people reported some problems with that, and it's mostly due to power. It's mostly due to the hard drive they're using not getting enough power from the system. So a lot of portable USB hard drives rely on the system that you plug it into to be powered. So what Nintendo's telling you to do is either use a Y cable, which has 2 USB ports on it, so it pulls more power from the system.
Okay.
Or they tell you to use an external drive that has its own power brick, so that this way it's getting enough juice on its own. These sound like very PC-type problems, though.
Yeah, right.
This is a console that you're supposed to just unbox, plug it into your TV, and go. But with system updates and, software, like, quirks and
you're just like, I want to play Mario, that's all I want to do.
Yeah, so maybe this is not the fun that people want from their Nintendo system.
Well, it seems like there is a little bit learning curve in getting this thing up and going.
We took a look at the system, and I think we took a trip to Best Buy.
Yeah, we went to, I saw it in Target, and no one was there. I was like super excited. I was able to play it. And then the next day in Best Buy, we took a trip to check it out. We took our camera and shot a little footage, so maybe I'll insert some of that footage here. You get to see it. But what was your impressions? What did you think?
Well, we played Rayman, the Rayman game.
Yes, that was the only playable game. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, everything else was just a video. But it looked nice. It looked crisp. I didn't...
Definitely looked crisp.
It looked as good as I would expect a modern system to render a game like that. So very colorful, looked like, living artwork. Had that sort of pastel, hand-drawn look to it. But it was nice. There was a lot of interaction between what was happening on the TV screen and what was happening on the tablet controller that you were using to control the game with. So there were segments in the game where, you sort of use swipe gestures on the touchpad to enable on-screen stuff to guide your character around. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was fun functionality. But I think it's going to take some getting used to for me anyway. It was a little different. Like once I saw that I had to do stuff on the touchpad, I was not really looking at the TV screen very much. I was kind of following the game on the controller, trying to figure out when I would next have to do something.
Yeah, so basically, like, the game was mirrored. You had the screen, and then you had it on the handheld, and then certain parts in the game, it would prompt you to look at the...
Yeah.
So, as I was watching you play, I also felt the same way. I was watching the big screen, and then when you started doing the swipes, then I started paying attention, and then I never looked back up to look at the big screen.
And I don't know if that's by design or if, if other games are going to be different. But if there is going to be a lot of back and forth going there, might be a little jarring for some players. But overall, I don't know. I thought I had a pretty positive impression. I'm curious to see where they take it next.
Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't say anything. I wish there was more demos to try out.
Yeah, especially some.
They had a lot of games on the system, but it was just all movies.
Why not, little demos?
I know that kind of made me a little nervous. When I think if you're proud of a system, you should have plenty of demos. But
videos you can watch at home. But once you're in the store and you want to.
But the controller was nice. I liked the button layout. I think it was really good. Not quite as elegant as an iPad or any of the other tablets on the market, but it seemed like it had a good feel. I don't know if how well it would stand to getting dropped and bumped around like normal controllers are. Yeah. But I guess we'll see as time goes on.
We don't know how rugged it is. But the screen was good quality. It was better than I thought it would be. So since it was like Thanksgiving weekend,
yes,
we had some usual Black Friday madness going on.
Black Friday madness. How'd you do? Did you do any shopping or just?
Compared to other years, I've done. I came away with nothing at all. I mean, there weren't really that many that I was interested in to begin with. The best deals that I was looking at personally, for a lot of good things about Dishonored. That was on sale for $25. I was considering grabbing that, but
there was also Sly Cooper. Is it?
Yeah, the Sly Collection for PS3.
Sly Collection. That was like $15?
That was $10.
$10. That's.
And the Ratchet and Clank HD Collection for PS3 was $15.
Nice.
I was looking at both of those, and they sold out very quickly within less than a minute.
So, like, if you're not there. Like I was to snag those deals. Yeah. I was waiting right for the button because I read it ahead beforehand. Yeah. So I knew what games were coming out.
What did you grab?
So I picked out. I got a few good deals. I got Transformers Full of Cybertron.
Also, pretty good buzz on that.
Pretty good, $25. I picked up WWE 13. That was $25.
Also a new game.
Yeah, that's like really brand new, a month old. And Lollipop Chainsaw, which I've been wanting for a while.
Yeah, older game. So
older game.
Better deal on that.
$10, brand new. So I thought was a pretty good deal. These will probably stay shrink wrapped for quite a long time. I don't foresee myself having time to play them soon, but I am definitely anxious to check them all out. So.
But definitely all titles that you wanted to
they were all on my wish list, and
so you might as
my wishes came true on Black Friday.
That's great. And actually, the other deal that I thought was kind of good was Toys R Us had buy one Wii U game, get a second for 40% off.
I know, that was really surprising.
Yeah, especially for a brand new system.
Yeah,
it was a little shocking. But maybe they felt the titles weren't that great, and they wanted to get them out the door so they wouldn't sit there. I don't know. Maybe the sales potentials on those weren't
yeah, I don't know.
But, if you bought a Wii U, if you were lucky enough to snag one, and this was a good way to stock up on some new games, I thought. Any other games you've been checking out, such as, some sort of game?
Wait, are you curious to know what other game I was been kind of messing around with in the past 2 weeks?
I've been curious. Yeah, sure.
Well,
if you can call it a game.
Yeah, so we don't know. The game is called Curiosity, and they had to change the name because they felt like they were getting confused with the Mars rover thing, Curiosity. So now they call Curiosity What's in the Cube, I think. And it's for Android and iOS. And the guy, what's the guy's name? Peter
Molyneux. Yeah,
and he came from
game
Microsoft.
Industry luminary. Yeah, he's got a long history in the games business. Most recently with Microsoft, doing the Fable series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know he made those. Okay.
His studio put out the Fable series of games for Xbox and PC. Got to start with Populous was his big breakout hit way back
Did he
in the
really?
day.
Oh, that's why that name is familiar.
Yeah, he founded Bullfrog.
I love Populous. Okay.
Populous and Syndicate.
And now he's working on
Theme
a new
Park.
Populous game on Kickstarter.
Is that his
They're
next big thing?
reinventing. Yeah.
Okay.
That was announced on the Cube, I believe.
Really? That was one of the secrets?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I read. I don't know.
I didn't know that. But
So-
what do we think is inside the cube?
Well, he said it's not money, so that was my incentive to play when I thought maybe there was a cash prize.
Well, why don't we set it? Why don't we describe the game first?
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, it's a cube on the screen that you can rotate any direction with your finger, and you want to tap away. There is something like 6 million on each side. Cubes starts with.
Wow, is that many?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's a lot. And every time you tap a cube, it disappears, and you want to remove layer by layer of all these cubes. I think there's 2,042 layers on the cube.
Yeah, and I heard they cleared the first one in the first day.
Yes.
So
Despite all their server issues and
Yeah.
other things.
so if it goes at one per day, I don't know if it has been, but that's it's gonna be a long time.
As they remove layers, the cube's going to shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it'll get increasingly faster and faster.
Yeah, and I guess while you play, you accumulate coins, and with these
Yes.
coins, you can go into the in-game shop and purchase tools that'll make your tile clearing more efficient or faster or better or whatever. So maybe as people's coin collections grow, they'll be able to buy increasingly better tools to knock layers
To eliminate,
down faster.
the blocks quicker.
Yeah, maybe.
And the interesting thing about that is you can't. There's no in-app purchases, so it's not like you can cheat and buy $100 worth of coins or whatever, and you have to earn the coins by playing the cube. So
Yeah, so it's one big cube that anybody who plays the game gets to chip away at.
yes, around the entire world.
Yeah, so all the players, everywhere they are, whether you're on iOS or Android, you're chipping away at each cube, and the layer disappears when all the tiles on each side are cleared.
Updated in real time.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting, and people have been doing funny things with with their technique. They've been carving messages into the cube
Yes.
and drawing pictures maybe and things like that.
Yeah, I had as we were setting up before, I kind of did a little graffiti of my own. Very mature of me. But yeah, so basically, it's not really a game. It's kind of like a concept, or we don't really know.
Yeah.
They won't tell us anything what's inside the cube. Supposedly, some of the layers have photos on them or images.
Yeah, I saw one that had the excerpts from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, and that's supposed to somehow be tied into whatever. Supposedly, whatever is inside is like life changing. Whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's they're billing it as almost like a social experiment.
Yes.
Sure, there's some gameplay to it, but I guess the question they're posing is, without saying what's in the middle, is that mystery enough to drive people to continue to play it and put time into it to see what's in the middle or what's in the center of the cube? I mean, we've been told that it's not money and that it's not some
money.
kind of material gift or prize.
Right. But I think they said it will... What you're doing on the cube does affect something somewhere else or something like that. So
Right. And the other thing is that there's going to be only one winner, right?
Yes.
That there's whoever is
Could
the
be
last
anonymous.
one, they'll click into it. They'll know what the prize is, whoever that last person is, and it'll be up to them to share
So
that information
you may never
with the world.
know.
If it's someone malicious or someone with a heart of evil and darkness, they're going to continue to.
That would be cruel.
They're going to just take away the final result of this huge effort and just keep it all for themselves. That might happen. That could happen. Or they might hold it for ransom. Who knows?
So let's talk about Leon's loot.
Yeah, usually we have Steph's stuff here.
Yeah, Steph's stuff is on vacation this week.
But I guess I figured I'd share some of my loot.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week that you have a pretty impressive array of electronics and gadgets and games. So what do you got? What is this?
So what we've got here is a Sega SG-1000 Model 2 console.
Model 2. Doesn't say Model 2.
It's got a Roman numeral 2.
Roman numeral 2. That's SG-1000 the second?
The second, yeah. Perhaps. This is the heir to...
It's not Mark 2.
No, that'll be saved for Mark 3. But this was... this is interesting. This is the second model of Sega's first game console. Originally, it was the SG-1000, which was released in 1983, on the same day that the Famicom came out. So, a lot of people think of the Sega Master System, the SMS, as sort of their first foray, but this was sort of an earlier version of that, released in Japan only. This particular one came out in 1984, and this can also even be used as a computer. There was a keyboard attachment to it. Nice. They even made a printer, very rudimentary, but still usable. It took a full-size cartridge, which we do have a couple of examples of some games. This is called Zippy Race.
Race.
Which looks like a motorcycle driving game. And then we've got something called Borderline here, which is sort of a combat game.
By the cover of that game, it looks intense.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy intense.
Yeah, we've got a soldier here.
Like explosions
in combat. Wow!
I imagine that game we're gonna keep you busy for a very long time.
Yeah, these are full size carts.
Oh, they look like a ColecoVision cartridge.
Yeah, very similar, right?
Huh?
Especially with the
it's almost identical.
Insert on the back there, but it would plug right in there. And we had a familiar type of joypad on the side.
So we got the coax cable or RF.
Yeah, just a basic RF connection.
And I see it has two of the... I forget what that joystick port is, but what Atari and Genesis,
the regular
everything
DB9
else uses. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's pretty basic. It's an 8-bit system in the early 80s. Yeah.
Nice.
I was trying to pop that off.
Yeah, I've never seen one of these before, so...
So, that's what that looks like with a little nub. This is removable,
so it looks like... I'm trying to think what that is. I don't know. That's a weird controller. It's almost like a Sega Master System controller, like shrunk down.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really is essentially the same as the Master System. The Master System came out, I guess, in '86 in the U.S. It came out in '85 in Japan. So it was essentially the same console, just with a little more RAM, and they ended up adding the FM sound chip. So
that has the FM sound chip?
No. This is actually...
This is a Z80 processor?
It's a Z80 CPU.
Yeah.
It's got just the basic 4-channel sound, but then they added the FM afterwards.
Oh, okay.
That became an add-on, and the Master System had that included into the design of the system. So it was sort of just a more updated, more integrated version. It also had a card reader for the card games that the SMS used as well. You could buy that as an add-on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So they integrated that as well, and that became a feature of the SMS. And, maybe we'll hook it up and try to demo some of these games. But it's a neat little device. It's just an interesting piece of Sega history for me. But, it was roughly NES graphics, quality-wise. And pretty much what you would expect of that era.
Yeah, it says for the SC 3000 or 1000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to give you my review on this controller right now.
You do that.
It's okay. It's not bad, actually.
A button, B button.
They're not labeled a buttons, so right there alone, how would you know what button to press?
Yeah.
There's no 1, there's no A, there's nothing. And this knob I don't like, but that looks like that comes off.
Yeah, you can twist that right off.
It's a little small, but cool.
Yeah. It's a neat little toy.
Yeah. Very. I believe you had to ask me a question.
Yeah, normally you bust out questions, but...
I know.
But I had one...
This feels weird, right?
That I was wondering. Yeah, this is like a whole mirror universe version of our episode here. But I was wondering if you've ever given up on a game before you managed to finish it.
I've given up on a lot of things. Games is one of them. Now, generally, I like to play a game all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like my OCD.
Yeah. I feel compelled to finish
especially
games usually,
like
even if I don't like them.
There's kind of like that point where I feel if I invested a certain amount of time, then I better get a reward or something. Like I need to finish this to get that completion. Right. So that said, there are a few that I just totally gave up on for various reasons. Mm-hmm. One, which is probably going to shock a lot of people, but I gave up on Zelda Twilight Princess for Wii.
How could you do that?
I know. I love Zelda games too. I don't know. I loved Wind Waker and Ocarina, whatever it's called, and Majora, all that stuff. But for some reason,
now this is a game that you were playing, and you felt like at a certain point you've had enough.
Yeah, I played for a couple of hours, and then I just felt like I just wasn't into it. The storyline didn't grab me. I don't know. There was you just can't put your finger on something. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was in a bad mood that day. I don't know.
Yeah. I personally I haven't played the game. I can't say whether it's been that type of game for me. It's something I did pick up for the Wii back when it first came out, but I just never rose to the top of my queue for me to want to dive in and start playing it. So I don't know if I have the same feeling about that game as you did. Maybe one day I'll be able to get to it.
How about you?
I did have one that came to mind. It was an RPG for the Game Boy Advance. Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Now this was after I had played the first Golden Sun. Lost Age is the second game in the series. And I played Golden Sun originally, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a great game. Mm-hmm. Couldn't wait to play the second one. Finally got the second game, and started up on it. And for whatever reason, after not playing it for a couple of days, I jumped back in, and I wasn't sure. I guess my progress wasn't very clear, like what my next objectives were, and. Like many RPGs, the game had a lot of random battles, which totally throws me off course sometimes. I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and I'm getting jumped every few steps. And, it kind of derails my entire progress sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I was disappointed because it was a game that I was really looking forward to. And after not playing it for a couple of days, jumping in, wondering where I had to go, and then getting attacked every few feet kind of really just took the wind out of it for me. I was not interested in playing it after that. So I guess nowadays at least we have YouTube videos that we can.
I did play that game.
Yeah.
And I also gave up on it.
So it was on your list as well.
Yeah, but I see there's a difference between giving up a game or just not liking it when you first start playing it. That was a game I just didn't care for.
Yeah, I think games like this especially, I think the random battle issue is something that has irked a lot of game players over the years.
Phantasy Star, and I'm not into that.
Yeah, so I think that's something that games have evolved on. Just a lot of games are sort of aware of that now and maybe think of other ways to engage the player. But yeah, I guess there's other reasons why you might give up on a game too, other than the fact that, you don't feel invested in it anymore, or sometimes people lose progress, and once you've lost that 20 hours, that initial 20 hours that you put into a game, you're like, I don't know if I want to play that again. But
or sometimes you play a game for a good amount of time, especially in a role-playing game, and then you might be busy with something for a while for whatever reasons, and then you go back to the game, and now it's kind of like it's too much time has passed, and if you can't jump back in anymore because you forget, you don't know what the backstory is, you forget how the controls were in the game, or there's that point where
definitely that's happened to me a few times with a lot of games. It's not that I didn't want to play them or I didn't want to see the game through to the end. It's just that something else either something prevented me from playing the game for a period of time, or a new game came along that I wanted to get into right away, and I just have all those open save files that I had intended to go back and revisit and just didn't for whatever reason.
Never did. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we had a question for Bit too, right?
Yeah. What should we ask Bit today?
Well, I think we've got Wreck-It Ralph that came out recently.
Yes, we saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Disney movie. It came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
If anyone who doesn't know, it's Wreck-It Ralph is about he's a bad guy in a fictitious video game.
Right.
In a movie about
fictional.
Yeah. Fictionalness. And he's a bad guy character, but in the game they're not traditionally good guys or bad guys. They're kind of like actors.
Yeah, that's how they're portrayed in the game world.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to give out spoilers or anything, but, kids might be wanting to see this.
Yeah.
But the movie, it's a cool movie because it's for kids or adults.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it referenced a lot of vintage gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Both with like arcade cabinets and arcades and some old games made a reappearance. Some characters we know and love, like Dig Dug and Qbert,
mm-hmm.
and a couple other characters.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I mean, that was part of the draw, was the nostalgic aspects of what you saw during the promos for the game. That you saw a lot of classic gaming characters kind of thrown into the video, and it looked good. Now, of course, that wasn't integral to the plot or anything. It was just there, sort of like just, window dressing, just to sort of set the stage for the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Make it feel like it was part of, the gaming scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I see the movie as two halves. Like the first half is more kind of like you said, the building up and,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of getting you the feel that it was a video game. And then the second half, which is kind of its own story.
Yeah.
Which is the story of...
What's
his name?
Well, there was Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph.
Trying to sort of...
And Felix.
And Felix, his nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Felix is trying... Well, we don't want to totally spoil the plot.
Yeah, I know.
But Ralph is trying to sort of... get himself to be seen as not so much of a villain. That's kind of his motivation in the movie.
He wants to be well liked.
Yeah.
And get all the attention from his friends like Felix does.
Right, yeah. Felix is the hero of the game, so, But Felix at the same time is trying to help Ralph and, trying to, get him back on track. But, for me, the movie overall, I mean, it was a little kiddie, I thought. I mean, it is for kids and adults alike, but once the main plot of the movie takes off, it felt a little kidified for me.
A little like G-rated, a little too G-rated for me.
Yeah, but I found myself focusing on the technical aspects of the movie, of just marveling at the animation and really enjoying the environments that were being portrayed and thinking about, wow, look at all the work that went into that, But kind of a predictable ending too, but it's a Disney movie. What do you expect?
It has to be a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Well, then the question is, what does Bit think?
Now, I'm curious because Bit was employed by Disney at one point.
That's right. I mean, Tron was a Disney movie.
True. Now, we're not saying this is the Bit from Tron because I don't want to get sued.
No, but we're not saying that.
We're saying it could be. We don't know. But he could have been employed by Disney at some point.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how objective he is in this.
So I'm assuming that Bit saw the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know for sure either.
We're assuming
there's a lot of things we don't know about this Bit character. He's a little shady. These yes and no answers.
Yeah, he's being very coy.
Yeah, right? So a little bit of a cop-out, but okay. So, Bit, what did you think of Wreck-It Ralph? Was it a must-see or a thumbs down? What do you think? Would you go see it again?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So,
Wow.
Bit did like a... But, Bit, what did you like better? Tron or... No, see, he's just going to give me a yes or no answer. This is why you can't get anywhere.
You have to phrase it as a yes or no question.
I know. Do you think Tron is a better movie than Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes.
He's just saying that.
Not surprised at all.
Not surprised.
I mean, well, maybe if you felt like he should have been asked to appear in Wreck-It Ralph, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
That was a little surprising.
That was...
That's a native Disney character that they could have used in the movie, but they chose not to. So...
Well...
but, I guess...
There's always Tron Legacy, too.
That's right. We'll see what comes of that. Maybe they didn't want because they were both taking place in a video game world, they didn't want to overlap it too much.
Yeah, because they didn't make any Tron references. I'll spoil that for everyone.
Yeah.
No Tron references. That I picked out anyway. Mm-hmm. But all right, so that's this week. And thanks for everyone watching. And just something that I don't usually say, but if you do like, please subscribe. And I notice all the YouTube people say this, so subscribe and like and all that stuff. And email us.
Yeah, any feedback.
Leave a comment.
Would be great.
Whatever. If you want something shown or talked about, let us know. If you want to be on the show, let us know. And anything else?
I think you covered it pretty good.
Okay, I covered it. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.